Hey, hey, everybody. I see y'all. I see y'all. Say hey. Hey, hey, twins travel. Hey. Listen, y'all can't be walking up in people's house and not saying hello. Say hello, people. Say hello. How y'all doing? It is going to be an amazing and dope show tonight because I have the one and the only Lady She that is showing up here tonight in the studio. She is my friend. I have known her since she's been a little girl. Unfortunately, I was a little older than Shanice, don't talk about me, right? But it is Shanice Alston. She was a young mother to a young boy who was diagnosed with on the autism spectrum and later in his teens epilepsy. Her faith led her to receive what God spoke to her heart concerning him, but it also led her to allow God to use her in her gifts as a writer and an intercessor in prayer. She wrote a book, and her book is called God Over Puzzle Pieces, A Mother Who Prays. And that is the evidence that Shanice, being obedient unto God to be a vessel, that she would share her son's story of faith, hope, and miracles. Shanice is not only a praying mother, but she is also a mentor and a motivational speaker in her community. Aided by her education through Faith Bible Institute, she presses to walk in her purpose and encourage those she encounters along the way. And I have got to tell y'all this. She is an absolutely amazing and dope sister. And I told her one time, I said, Shanice, I got to go to the mountain. She said, girl, go ahead on to the mountain because you got to go to the mountain to go hear from the Lord. And I did. And I adhered to her, and God blessed me with a whole word, a life-changing, life-altering word, because Shanice is so dope. She encourages my heart. She encourages my spirit, and I absolutely love her. But again, y'all, I knew her since she was little. She was little. She didn't quite have a little snotty nose tonight, but I noticed since she was little. Y'all pray for me, honey. But anyway, I got the one and only Lady She here this evening. Here she go, y'all. Hey, boo.
Hi, Kim.
Hey, boo.
I'm over here cracking up. I am cracking up.
Girl,
I
I
wasn't snotty nose, but I was probably a little snooty.
Isn't she beautiful, y'all? She
Thank
is
you.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
But you
Thank
know what,
you.
Shanice? I found out that it's not just what is going on the outside,
Mm,
baby. You beautiful and you are
that part.
radiating on the inside.
Thank
And
you
that's
so
what I
much.
love about you so much. Your spirit
I
is dope,
appreciate
sis.
you.
Look,
I
Yana
appreciate
Yana
you.
is saying, hey.
Hi, Yana. Hello
Yes,
there.
yes,
Listen, thank
yes.
you so much, Kim, for the invitation. I mean, I'm telling you, God is just so good. He's amazing.
He is
So it's
amazing.
like on one hand, I'm like, yeah, for sure. Then on the other hand, I'm like, God, he just so yummy to me. I just adore him. I'm just excited about all he's doing, the divine, like I told you before, the divine connections and all that he is doing. So with my whole heart, thank you so much for inviting me on
I
your
love
platform.
you. I love you. My boy says hello. Yana says love you both. Um,
Yes.
eh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Twins Travel says she is from where I sit. Yeah. Yeah. That's an inside thing between he and I.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. That's an inside thing. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Got you.
Hello,
Got you.
somebody. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I don't
Hello,
gotta know the
Felicia.
details. As long as if Kim co-signing, it's a good thing.
Hello. Yes. Listen, because Twins Travel is real talk. He,
Mm-hmm.
he's supposed to be in ministry, but he played too much. You
Oh,
know,
well,
he running, but it's okay. I'm gonna let
listen.
him rock for right now.
Listen, you think you running, honey. He gonna catch up regardless. Okay, he's everywhere.
And you don't want it. And you
Okay,
don't want that beat down. You don't want
nah,
it.
you don't want to box with God, not with the Lord.
No. I see blessings, family. I see Facebook user. Hi, Heather Gale. I see you, sweetheart. How are you? Hey, Tony. I see you, sweetheart. Look, he said,
Hi,
"Oh
everybody.
Lord." He said, "Oh Lord, LAWD." But he know I know from the moment I
It's
met
the
him.
truth,
Hi,
anyhow. It's the truth,
Felicia.
anyhow.
Yes. So the other about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I saw a post that Shanice had done, a heartfelt post about the different things that were going on in different communities all over the United States. And it kind of blew my mind because while I watch the news and national news more than I watch local news, when I saw Shanice's heartfelt video that she did on IG, she forgot, she left this part out. I'm sorry, George. She has her own podcast show. She is Lady She, right?
Okay.
And she left that part out. Like, while she is all of those other things, she is an amazing and wonderful podcaster, and she has a
Thank
dope
you.
show.
Thank
And
you.
you guys have to follow her. How do they follow you? Oh, at Hot Mic with Lady She on YouTube.
On
Right?
YouTube, you can follow me on Instagram where I share clips and different things connected to the podcast. The podcast is, with faith-based. It's about testimonies. It's about overcomers. It's about entrepreneurship. It's about our community being able to be educated, encouraged, and inspired. So check it out.
Yes, there you go. Okay, I'm loving it. So, but I needed to tell y'all that because she taps in. She's always tapping into the brothers. She's tapping into men where their places are. She's tapping into our children. She is tapping into women who are doing their thing, making a difference and making their mark here, out here in the world. And I say now, we think we local, but we ain't local, we global. And so women who want to make a difference in other women's lives, and men and brothers who want to speak to brothers, she has a platform that is absolutely dope, that lends itself to allow these people to have their voice. Because I believe that when men stand up, people listen. I believe that when sisters stand up and they begin to encourage one another, and they lend themselves and sometimes even their own courage to their sisters to support them in what they do, like, we need to pay attention to that and support one another, right? Look at Sabrina. Holla, everybody. I see you.
Hey.
She watching on YouTube.
She said, hola, hello.
Yes. Oh, she said hola. I thought she said holla. Wait. I'm like, holla, okay.
I can't.
You might have to pray for me now. We should have a little prayer set. We're gonna pray when we done though. Because we got to pray. So this is like, oh my God. No.
I can't. Oh my God, I think I read that right.
Y'all know how silly I am. Y'all pray for me. Okay. So the reason why I think Shanice is just so dope and so amazing, and the reason why I asked her, Shanice, you gotta come on. You gotta come on a Thursday night. Because when she thank you for sending that, Sabrina, when she was talking about the children, Shanice, I want you to open up with that, because we're gonna go to the relationship part. But I really want you to open up with your heart in terms of what you've been seeing. Also, I don't know, can I say it, USCL?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and she's a corrections officer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I just didn't know.
Because that all ties in. It all ties in.
Yes.
God is intentional. We don't always know what he's doing, but he's the orchestrator. So, even with me taking this particular job, going to this particular field, like you said, you let them know that you were my neighbor growing up. I come from Hempstead Terrace Avenue, and in that environment, you see either it's your family or a friend or someone constantly going in and out of jail.
Right.
So because I grew up working with children, I thought I was going to be a child psychologist or a teacher. That was always the thing that I thought I was going to do. But I started to realize my thinking started to shift as I got older, because I was exposed to different things coming from that block. And what I was exposed to was, violence. I was exposed to my friends, being murdered. I was exposed to my friends going in and out of jail. I was even exposed to my family going in and out of jail. So I always wanted to understand, like, what is going on where they can't do right, where they keep going in and out of there. Like, to me, if this not your world, the automatic thing is it has to be horrible in there. So
Right.
even as a kid, I'm like, if it's horrible in there, like, why do you want to keep going? There's a glitch there. Even as a
Yes,
kid,
it's
I
a glitch in the
understood
system. Yes.
something was going on, not just the system, where we were from. Do you understand what I'm saying? I knew
Mm.
something was off. So even with, shout out to Don Ryan, shout out to Mr. A and Eric from the Salvation Army, that place basically saved my life because it gave me something to do. So
Yes.
that was literally my first job as I don't even know if I was 14 yet. I know I got my working papers at 14, but I was a camper there first. And then that next year I got my working papers and became a counselor. And I just naturally was teaching the kids, talking to the kids about their behavior. And it also made me understand, if you don't catch things with your kids early, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That's not just with behavior, that's with, the academics, that's with their attitudes, that's with everything. So that's why it's so important us as parents to understand we have to know our place as parents. It can't be the thing of, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't want my kid to be, sweetie.
Right.
If you don't handle certain things, you're going to be, little JJ going to be incarcerated.
Right.
Or you're going to have to wear that black dress. Let's just be real, because I'm myself all the time. Kim, you invite me, I'm going to be myself. So, we have to be, we have to be honest with ourselves. And I understood that early on. I'm like, something is happening. So my first job connected to law was I worked in the district attorney's office. I started as a clerk and then I became a legal secretary. But then I took the corrections test. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about Nassau County, they will create a title for you, honey. Okay? They will create one, if it's about money. And so at the time, my job was my job. I enjoyed it. My coworkers enjoyed me as well. And they were like, you better not go to no jail. You better stay here. And I was like, well, if y'all ain't going to come out with no more promotional exams for me to get more money to take care of my son, I'm out of here. Right. So that's what ended up happening. And they called me for the corrections job and I started the job. And of course, at first, being from where I'm from, I got a lot of slack for it because for whatever reason, growing up where we're from, we're taught as kids that is bump the police. We're supposed to be against the police. It's really like insane. I think about it, I'm like, how do you let somebody convince you of something that has nothing to do with your life? I ain't never broke the law. You know what I'm saying? But we grew up saying bump the police because that was our environment. So for me to take a job as a correction officer, I got a lot of slack. And with that, I was like, you know what, God, clearly you have me here for something. And I feel like I can be that officer that when I see certain people coming in, I have discernment. I can tell if it's you playing games or if this is your thing. And I decided to be that officer that when I see certain people, I'm going to snatch you up like, what are you doing here? Yes. So I'm that officer that I might even remember having a conversation with you. But a person to see me on the street and call me by my name at work. And I know that's where they know me from. And I'm like, I don't know who that was. And they're like, oh, Miss A, thank you so much. I'm in school now. I'm trying to get my daughter now. I'm getting my life together. And that's my ministry in that particular place. You understand? Right. So thank you for sharing that I am a CO. In reference to the post that you saw, I have a heart for kids. I always have. Right. I have a heart for kids. And if we be real, a lot of times, though women and men want to call themselves grown, we deal with a lot of people who are adults, but they're not grown up. Right. So I encounter grown children, which is still connected to me dealing with children. Right. And I'm not trying to be shady, but it's just the fact of the matter. If you're constantly, going in and out of prison, going in and out of jail, you're not really growing. Us on the outside, we're going through things. Right. I mean, of course, you're going through things in there as well, but we're growing in a different capacity. Right. So you're kind of stagnated. Right. If you're not that person who has, family to encourage you, or if you're not a big reader, you don't read books about, entrepreneurship, or you don't read books about, God or things of that nature, you're kind of stagnant. So even with me having my first job as a counselor for kids, it's still the same energy that I didn't see it coming. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it coming. Yeah. Hey, D. That's how I put up there. I see him. Mr. Green. Yeah, Mr. Green. But so we don't always know. We don't always foresee what God is doing for us. But everything we go through and everything he does for us is all connected. Yes. Yes, all
Yes.
connected.
Yes.
So with the children, the post, I think I know exactly which post it was. I post a lot about the kids,
Mhm.
because things are really different from when we grew up. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Things are very,
Mhm.
very different. You and I spoke about it when you came on a podcast about, the whole what goes on in my house stays in my house. Now everybody's house is in the world because everybody has social media. So these
Yes.
kids face so much more than we had to face as kids because they have way more pressure than we had.
Yeah.
So it will behoove the parents to get involved or to be a actual parent to your child and help them to understand they have to create boundaries for themselves for their
Right.
safety.
Right.
You can't control all that they hear and see in school, but at home you have to make that foundation strong. So
Yes.
when they encounter people who are not good, that when they encounter people, who are preying on them, that they have that discernment to say, okay, I gotta stand clear of this person.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So,
One of the
yeah,
things that
I have a heart for the kids.
one of the things that struck me, well, there's a lot of things that I don't see. Like I didn't know about the little girl who was beat up and she was and they showed the video on social media, and she went home and she killed herself.
Yeah, yeah.
And the bullying is so real.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Darren is saying, "Hey, what's up, niece?"
Looks good, D.
Yeah.
And
So
congratulations, sir.
I know
He
for
done left you
retiring.
behind. He done left you
Hello,
behind.
to left you behind. Mr. Green is out of there. Okay.
Oh, it is.
But you were saying that she went home and she killed herself. And then
Mm-hmm.
you told me about another instance where another boy, a 15-year-old boy, was raping a 6-year-old and on the back of the
On
bus.
the bus. Yeah.
And nobody saw it. Nobody did anything. And this has been going on for months.
Yeah.
And nobody said anything.
Right.
And as I was listening to you and hearing you and looking at your face, like I could feel your pain.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how one kid can ruin another kid's life utterly.
Yeah.
And what is going on with the parents is what I kept thinking about as you were talking. And that's what you were saying. What is going on with our kids
Mm-hmm.
and the parents? And so, even tonight, as we were texting one another, I was saying to you, some of the things she's, because the title is what is happening to us, with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I thought that was, make sure, sis, that you share this on your Facebook wall. I don't even know if you can do that now. But one of the things that was paramount, I don't know how to, I could probably share it, but you might have to release the tag. I don't know. But one of the things that bothered me so much when we were talking about that is the fact that um when I look, I could hear your pain. And then I was thinking about the parents and what were they telling their children. And then earlier today when we were texting, I said, this is about entitlement. This is about people feeling like everybody's got to win, that their
Mm-hmm.
kids can bully other children and it's okay. The standards that we set as parents, teachers, and how even the school districts are not doing anything to help our children. And so I can't even fathom anybody or my child, my niece, my nephew, my grandchildren telling me or finding out that somebody committed suicide because somebody was bullying them,
Right.
and nobody is doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I struggle when I heard you. It affected me as a mother, as a grandmother, right? Um, with what's going on out here in this world and how all of this ties to our relationships, to broken homes,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To mothers that are doing overcompensating because the fathers are not there, right? Or fathers that are overcompensating for the mothers that are not there, right? And the pain that you have to feel for the mother whose child did commit suicide. Like, what were you not paying attention to? How is it that a 15-year-old has the opportunity to rape a 6-year-old child on the back of a school bus repeatedly?
So my thoughts, I'm gonna try to tap into each party. So, and it's not giving anyone an excuse, but it's just the reality of what the world is right now. So my son, my 9-year-old, went through bullying last year at his new school. He was a new kid in the school, right? And he verbalized some things. And I'm a hands-on mom. Like, this is not TV for me. Like, I'm in my kid's business. And I can feel when their energy shifts. So because I came from a home where no one really paid attention, no one even knew, or if they did know, no one said anything about me being molested in my home, I was silenced. So I was silent. So for me as a mom, I make sure my kids are not silenced. I allow them to share. Or let me say this, I feel I've created a safe space for them to share things with me. And I'm going to say this, as parents, we either repeat what happened in our home, or we do the total opposite, or we kind of find that middle place depending on our experiences or what we learn. Because some people just end up being a parent because it's a oops situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when it's an oops situation, it's now okay, I got to deal with this.
Right.
But when you do it in a manner of it was planned and this is what I saw from my life and all those different things, you're just a different breed. When it comes to parenting, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
What I feel is sometimes with some parents, I know you mentioned the overcompensating thing. Sometimes that's all they have. One thing I've learned, and even looking at some of my friends, I realized that every mother doesn't have that mothering.
Right.
They just don't have it.
Right.
So what's normal for me, the nurturing is normal for me, they may not have it. So they do the shopping and the, whatever new device is out. And my daughter likes this artist. Let me send them to that concert. They're giving them their kids what they actually have.
Right.
And even sometimes with the fathers, just because you're sexually active don't mean you need to be a daddy. But now that you are still giving homeboy from the street that hangs out, or you are still giving, I'm focused on going to college and playing ball. You are giving what you have to your children.
Right.
But the kids don't understand that. They don't understand that. So now the kids are getting the mom who really wasn't ready to be a mom, but she's dealing with it energy. Then they getting the dad who, was trying to get a scholarship, to play basketball, and he hurt his knee and it didn't work out, and now he's kind of angry. So you're getting both of these entities, and now you're the splitting of both.
Yes.
So where do you fall on that? So all of that is showing up in school. Yes. It's showing up when they go to church. It's showing up when they're playing football. It's showing up at all these different places. So I feel like even with the educators, shout out to the educators. I got a heart for the educators as well. They are dealing with way more issues than they had to do, to me, I feel, when I was in school. You understand what I'm saying? They're dealing with kids who have identity issues. And I'm not just talking about transgender stuff. I'm talking about really not knowing who they are because no one's pouring into them. Mom is working 2 jobs. Dad is shaking out. Maybe he got other baby mamas or whatever. So the little one is getting whatever little bit of time he can get from both parents. So it's almost like the child is kind of fending for themselves. So they're getting a piece of mom and dad. They're getting a piece of maybe grandma, if grandma keeping them after school. They're getting a piece of the kids they encounter at after school program or in the sports or whatever. And they don't know how to be. Because there's no,
who am I?
There's no village saying, no, you can't do that. Because we had a village growing up, it was okay for somebody else to snatch you and say, you better cut that out. I'm gonna tell your mama. Nowadays, parents like, how dare you? Such and such and such and such. Do you know what I'm saying?
And they want to fight.
They want to fight, honey. They want to fight. They want to lay hands. What they call it, they want to it's on site.
Right. When I see you. Right.
Yeah, when I see you, it's on site. So now the child
No,
is still not being addressed for the reason of whatever they did. Because
right.
now mom is focused on who checked my child. So the child is still losing. Do you understand what I'm
Right.
saying? And I
Right.
think that we lose sight of what goes on. And at the end of the day, that child gonna get bigger and bigger. And guess what's
Right.
gonna happen? Teachers ain't gonna keep dealing with that. Principals are not gonna keep dealing with that. And when it comes to going to college, I don't care how great you are of a football player. I don't care how far you can throw that ball or how you can shoot that hoop. Colleges are not going to take you because of your
Right.
behavior.
Right.
But they don't know that because no one's pouring into them.
Right.
So I feel like there's been so much hurt and, the generational curses. And a lot of times, we sound deep saying generational curse, but people don't even know they have curses in their families.
Right.
They don't. So how
Right.
do you address something that you don't know you have going on?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? How do I speak on poverty when everybody in my family has lived in the projects? I don't look at that as poverty.
Right.
I'm like, we got somewhere to live. We good. My
Right.
other cousin up the street, my other cousin is around the corner at the other projects. I don't see it as poverty until I encounter somebody that's like, oh no, I bought my first home at 30. Or I bought my first home at 21.
Right.
You can do that too, but no one's telling you that.
Right.
So there's like so many layers, and it really is disheartening for me. That's why I try to expose, and I try not to be that person that shares problems and not gives a solution.
Right.
Because I think we do a lot of that, and that can sometimes hurt the children as well. I hear grown-ups say stuff like this generation is lost. For me, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I just don't. I think we have to do the work.
Right.
But who's gonna do it? Who's going to do it? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in reference to relationships, there's so many layers when it comes to relationships. And I also feel that, we have a lot of us, we own it. We have comprehension issues and we have communication issues.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be right.
Yes.
And sometimes you're just not.
Right.
Okay?
You're just not.
Listen, I posted a clip of me and my son, my first interview on a podcast. And honestly, I look back at it, I say, yo, niece, you was kind of wrong on that.
Right.
I had to own it.
Right.
Because I'm not perfect either. I don't know everything either.
Right.
But me owning it means, okay, so now how can I change it?
Right.
And that's how you start. But if everybody's like, I'm grown, you can't tell me what to do, I'm your mother, I'm your father, that's not okay. Right. That's not okay. You're not giving your child a voice. What they have to say may change your life. What they have to say may put the mirror in your face.
Right.
When you realize your flaws. You ain't all that either. Yeah.
Right. Hello, somebody.
So,
Wait, what you say?
Hello.
What?
Yeah. So there's so much work to do. Like there really, really is so much work to do.
I really believe that. Heather Gale says we have a generation of parents who do not know how to be a parent. Working in juvenile justice, I saw it every day.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Yana says, yes, all parents need to give our children safe spaces for them to come to us. Mm-hmm. Hector is clapping. Sister Samiko says, yes. Terry says, the only thing a parent can do is raise our children as best we can and pray when we leave the house, the children will continue on with the aforementioned raising of the parents, right?
Yeah, that's the prayers.
Yes.
And I have to explain, I think I shared it. Who was I? I was interviewing a young man. They had a movie, a short film. Shout out to Trevor and Kurt. They wrote a film. Two men.
I think I saw that the other day on your IG.
And he said to me, he basically said to me, like, what is it like, being an officer and being a mother to Black sons and working there? And I said, when I hear my coworkers talk about their kids, I am like, just out of it. Because I'm like, you wouldn't last being a Black mom. Like, really? You would not last in our world. Like, the stuff that you talk about, child, good night. I got a different prayer when my kids leave my door. Do you understand what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
I got a different yearn, for their protection because
Yes.
they are brown children. So it's
Yes.
different for my sons.
Right.
My
I
experience as a parent
remember
is different.
I was at jury duty. I had to do grand jury in Brooklyn, the federal building.
Mhm.
And I was having a problem at the time. My oldest son was, I think, 16, 17 years old. And he was working at like the sports store in like the mall, right? And he literally bought a BB gun and I had a whole fit. And I was just sharing it with them because we used to go to lunch. They would give us like an hour and a half break lunch, for us to go and have lunch or whatever. And I was sharing it with some of the people that were in the grand jury with me. And they was like, well, what's wrong with him having a BB gun? I said, because you don't leave
Woo!
my neighborhood. And
My
all he
chest
has
got
to do
tight.
is be walking. Yes. All he has to do is be walking down the street. He could be going to his little white friend's house. I'm not trying to be funny, but he could be, and they will gun him
Yeah,
down for
absolutely.
what is common and customary for
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
I said, if you don't take that gun back, I'm going to call the store. I'm going to get people fired. My son was like, okay, my God. No, we not doing that because I
No.
don't want to give anybody an excuse to hurt my son.
That's the one, Kim. That's
Not
the
my
one.
son.
And it's not their world.
So,
It's not their
you
world.
understand?
And even right
It's not.
then was a a teachable moment, for your
It
son,
was.
understanding. I'm not saying you can't be friends with people, but I need you to understand how serious it is that you are in brown skin.
Yes.
You are
Yes.
in brown skin. So,
Yes.
please talk to me in reference
Right.
to encounters that make you feel uncomfortable because I'm
Yes.
not with you all day.
Right.
And that's why, even like I said, my son went through the bullying situation. I ended up realizing he started being bullied on the bus by sixth graders. He in third grade, and the big kids is bothering him. So I
Right.
said, what is happening here? And as I'm praying, God started revealing to me. And then a friend of mine I reached out to because I really didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I said, yo, my son is dope. Like, he be chilling. He doing him. He a happy kid. And I realized his happiness
Ah,
is what has made him pray to certain children.
yes. Yes.
It's sad to say, but my friend explained to me, and I'm not making no excuses because we're in a no bully zone. I don't deal with bullying at all. Period.
Right. Right.
But my friend said to me, she goes, some of the kids on your child's bus may
Mhm.
be displaced, and they are dealing with going to an apartment or to a hotel space where there's a bunch of them in there dwelling and living.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
they come on the bus and hear your son talking about he went to Disney World and he went on a cruise and he did this and my mother bought me that and I got new stickers,
Right.
all these things. And so at first I was being myself. I was like, and we started laughing. I said, no, seriously. I said, I get it. I said, I'm gonna pray, but that still don't give no excuse. You gotta check your
Right.
kids. You have
Right.
to check your
Right.
children. It is
Right.
not okay to try to make other kids feel bad
Right.
about
Right.
what they have or what they're doing or because they have good energy. And my son said flat out, he said, Ma, how we go to a Christian school and all these kids so upset? And I started laughing. He's like, isn't God supposed to be joy? Aren't we supposed to be happy? I said, listen, sweetie, you are absolutely right. You are not wrong. I said, this is why we pray
Right.
for people. You
Right.
have to pray for other people. They're going through things that you don't, that's not your world.
Right.
So, and when it's like that, don't force the relationship. Don't force the friendship. They made it clear they don't deal with you. Well, look, you don't deal with them either.
Right.
It's all
Right.
good. It's
Right.
all good.
Right.
And even with that,
Mhm.
I've come to realize, even with watching, and this is probably off topic a little bit, even with watching me seeing the influx of our men going viral, beating their parents or beating the baby mamas or
Mm.
killing the wives, I said something has happened where someone has not given them a space to share their emotions.
Yeah.
Because when it's that deep, that means it's been going on for some time.
You know what I attribute that to? And somebody needs to pray for me. I attribute that to being raised by women. And I'm being honest. I really, really do. This emotional thing that we're seeing playing out in men now, I attribute that to being raised by just women and not having a male influence in your life, right? Um, I also heard from brothers that they're not supposed to speak. Some men are afraid to open up their mouths because they don't know how they're going to be received by women, and more or less like shut down because women get really upset. I just heard this the other night when we were doing cocktails and conversations at backstage. It was a very interesting conversation for the men who did decide to chime in the things that they were saying, right? So I'm gonna be y'all.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm just gonna go to a quick little commercial break.
Okay.
Hey family. I wanted to have a quick talk with you guys. Are you tired of going through the same thing over and over again and getting the same results in your relationships? Meeting people who are not ready for commitment and not ready for what you're ready for, and you feel like you've wasted so much of your time. I have an amazing and wonderful offer for you tonight. It is to join my Unlocking Your Love Inner Circle. It is for people who are ready to take their lives to the next level. What I teach in the group, we work on our healing, we work on setting boundaries and gaining clarity around what it is that we want. We're writing the vision and we're making it plain, and it is absolutely amazing. Yes.
All right.
I didn't hear the commercial. Hello, somebody.
Hello. Let's go.
Let's go.
So
now you were saying, give me 1 second, because Darren said, well said, niece. The reality is just what you said. Parents must be accountable for their children, but they don't want to hear you say it. Then it's definitely on site, which is 100% BS. Hector said, thank you for this live. Very different, yet very refreshing and informative. Yes, absolutely. And Yana said, you have to talk to them and not at them. Okay. I just wanted to get those little comments out. Okay,
yes,
go ahead.
Absolutely. So, what I wanted to say to that, you saying that you blame the mothers. So I will say this. The friends I grew up with, most of them had both parents in the house. I had a stepfather.
No, I'm not blaming the mothers. I'm not blaming the mothers. Not at all. What I was saying was I attribute it to them being raised by their mothers. I'm not blaming the mothers. That's a totally and complete different thing. I attribute it to when young men, all they see is their mothers in their youth, because usually we have our children when we're young before we get settled mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, right? Women are a lot more emotional until they find themselves. Young men are being raised in the household with their mothers, and what they see is a lashing out like their mothers would lash out. They mimic behavior. They don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they see you do. Right. And for me, when children don't have males, young men don't have the embodiment of a male figure in their lives, a dad. It doesn't have to even be their father. It could be their uncle or whatever, to help them navigate what men do. Young boys have a tendency to be more emotional because they then begin to learn to do the things that they see their mother doing as opposed to what they see their father doing. And for the brothers that are watching, y'all can chime in on in the chat, because I really believe that is why young men are like, they're showing their emotions, and it's not harnessed well. It's misdirected, it's misguided. And so they want to now, some of them can even resent their mothers for their fathers not being there, right? But when you have a woman, especially in their youth, and I can only speak for myself concerning this, like myself, I raised my children alone, basically, right? Basically, I can't say completely, but basically, right? And because of that, I noticed my son's he's a lot more expressive. Darren says, on point, Kim. Heather Gale says, Heather Gale says, but it's okay for a man to show emotions. Yes, absolutely, it's okay for a man to show emotion. But when a woman is younger and she going through stuff and she don't have anybody around her, there's no checks and balances. Young boys tend to operate more like their mothers. And they be yelling, and this is what women do. We walk in the house, the dishes ain't clean, right? You yelling at or every one of them in the house, but he'll begin to take on. He doesn't know how to control and harness his emotions, and then they become misguided. He doesn't know where to place them. And that's what I'm saying. It's not the mother's fault. It's because of his own experience and not having a male figure in his life to help him channel those emotions properly.
Okay, so for me, and I don't know if it's because I've always been surrounded by, boys, men, or whatever the case may be. I'm the middle child of two brothers. I had all boy cousins for like 20 years until my aunt had a daughter. I mean, I'm sorry, my brother had the first granddaughter. So I feel like I've encountered so many different types of men. And plus, because I was more of a tomboy, I gravitated to friendship with guys more.
Me too.
So for me,
I was a tomboy, yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I've encountered so many different types. And even with, as I've grown up as an adult, I've realized that, to me, and this is just me, I feel that it's an individual home situation, because I know men who have been raised by both parents and they are awful. But I know some who they were raised by both parents and they're amazing individuals, because dad made sure he was hands-on. He was the provider financially, but he was hands-on with his child. Mom took care of the home, whether she worked or not, but they were both a team when it came to raising the children. So then on the other hand, I have seen the mothers who, like I mentioned earlier, may have been an oops situation. Maybe little JoJo or Ray Ray didn't really want a baby with you, but you had your child anyway. So now you feel some type of way about that. So you're just doing what you feel needs to be done in a way your emotions are, kind of protruding out to your child. So I feel that for me, I get what you're saying, because I know a bunch of those mothers. I know a bunch of those mothers who really didn't know how to deal with their emotions. So it poured into the child. I know those mothers. But I also know, there's some children who understand the positions their parents are in and they can manipulate. So they end up doing whatever they want to do regardless of how hard mom may have worked to pour in, to get them into different events and keep them busy and whatever the case may be. Or dad working to provide and everything. Maybe he missed one game or the greatest game, and now you want to make him feel so horrible about that just so you could do what you want to do. So there's always like, I feel that it can be, a personal home situation. And like I said before, some of us were raised with the whole what goes on in my house stays in my house. So now you're being raised by a mother who was silenced. So she may not really know how to communicate with you. It's not that she's trying to make you emotional. She just doesn't really know.
No, I was thinking more or less when we started talking about, you said something about they're hurting their girlfriends, their baby mamas, they beating them up, they killing them, and they doing, and that's misplaced aggression.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely misplaced aggression. Sure.
And so
now I got it.
And that's the reason why I said that, because you don't know how to handle even rejection.
I'll use. And this is be a segue.
I want to say this. Heather Gill says having a male in the home does not guarantee he is not going to grow up being emotionally stable. And I completely agree with Heather Gill. I was, but again, I know why I was saying what I was saying. Kim, remember the topic we covered years ago from the song Teach Me How to Love Music Soul Child? I was told the definition of a man was to never cry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, and that's garbage too, because you need to let your emotions show and go, right? But the issue is like, harness that thing, like learn how to yield even your power as a man. Like there's a way that you could do it without killing somebody.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
understand what I'm saying?
But
Like
and that's what I'm
what
saying.
happened to the pouring into? Right. It is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it also, and I'm not being funny, I'm being very, very transparent right now. Like I said earlier, I also realize a lot of the stuff connected to our men having anger issues is sometimes also connected to comprehension problems. I can tell you something, and I'm assuming that you understood me, but instead of you owning that you didn't understand me, you responded in a way that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So now your response doesn't make any sense to me, and I feel some type of way. Now you're mad at me.
Right.
When actually it's you're unable to comprehend what I'm saying to you.
Right.
Does that make any sense? And
no,
so that can breed anger. That can also breed anger.
Yes.
So even with, like, I had shared one time, I said, when did it become cool to not be smart? Where did this come from?
Wow.
Like, where did this come from? And I started thinking about working in the jail. I started realizing, I said, it's a mask that some of these people wear.
Yes.
Instead of saying, okay, I don't know how to read well.
Yes.
Let me making a word seem cool, or let me deflect and not have to do it and make everybody else feel like you look crazy being smart. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is also the tactic of the enemy as well, to keep us stagnant and to keep us not so smart. So I realized, like you said, it really is misplaced affection, because there's other things operating inside that you haven't dealt with. So you can't even blame a certain individual. Some stuff was just not handled. That's like with my son, right? He was diagnosed with autism at 4. Mm-hmm. Even being a young mother, I said, okay, I'm teaching him everything. And he's getting it. But when he's in school, there's something different. There's something off.
Right. Something
was happening with him. Now, if I was a mother that was in denial, like, well, I'm gonna just keep buying him Jordans, I'm gonna just keep buying him whatever the latest new brand name is, and I'm gonna just shove him in school, that would have made him more of problematic.
Right.
To not just me, but to all those around him.
Right.
So now we can't go nowhere because he's acting out.
Right.
And I haven't addressed why he's acting out. I'm ignoring it.
Right.
So now he's bigger. He's getting bigger. I'm getting calls from school because they can't deal with him. Right. I don't know what to do.
Right.
I'm still not doing anything, but he still has this aggression. I have to do something. Mm-hmm. Because something else is going to happen that I can't get him out of. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I feel like sometimes it could be a thing of, let's be real, some parents actually don't care. They just don't.
Right.
And then others may not know what to do, so they do nothing. And that don't work either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's some of these emotions. I had to deal with my son one time. He's, not being funny, but I have attractive kids. They're handsome little kids. They're handsome little kids. So when my oldest was on the track team, little girls liked him. But he was focused on what mom told him to focus on, which was track.
Right.
So I'm looking and everybody's like, oh, okay, Raj, they checking you out. And he looking like, I could care less. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was his thing. He was focused on what he was there for. When he gets to high school, he encountered his first time dealing with a young lady not liking him.
Wow.
And I was devastated for him because I'm like, how do I tell him? So I had to share with him. I said, listen to me. I said, you're handsome. It's going to be some girls that are going to like you, but be very clear. There's always going to be some girls that are not going to like you.
Right.
You have to understand that it is A-okay.
Right.
She is not your person.
Right.
It don't mean nothing wrong with you. It don't mean nothing's wrong with her.
Right.
That's just not your person.
Right.
So you have to accept that and not take it to the heart, not take it so personal, and understand you got so much life to live.
Right.
You're going to encounter so many other people, so don't take it as, something's wrong with you or whatever the case may be. It's just not your person.
Right. Right.
So I had to realize, I was thankful I could have that conversation with him because I understood there are young men who have killed themselves because a young girl did not like him, or
Right.
she played with his emotions
Right.
and then said, I'm throwing you away, and he didn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
You
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
I
So I
remember
was
when
grateful for that.
I remember when my son was in junior high school, and this little girl, I can't think of her name, but I probably wouldn't say it anyway on here. Um, she liked him because my son is, he's cutie patootie, right?
Yeah.
And he's quiet. He's very laid back. He don't talk to anybody. You would think you wouldn't even know he was in the house. That's how quiet he is. I mean, he grown now, grown, but she literally fought him. And he just didn't understand that. And then he got suspended from school. And then I said, well, where's the parents? Because this little girl is trying to fight him because he won't go out with her. He was in junior high school. He was like in like the sixth or the seventh grade. Like he wasn't thinking about, he might have been thinking about girls, but he didn't like her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she literally, the very next day, a parent came to my house and said, where's Spencer? Where's he at? And I was like, he here. And she was like, that little girl got a knife out and she said she gonna cut Spencer and da-da-da-da. And we met up at the school, the parents. Well, no, not even the parents. It was just the father that came. The mother didn't say a word. And it really bakes my noodle to this day that the mother never had any involvement with it. Because, like, that's your daughter. Are you not telling her that it's okay if a little boy doesn't like her?
Maybe she wasn't in the home. Maybe the father ended up in custody.
No, she was there. She just didn't bother. Because it was a problem. The police came here and was like, where's your son? I said, he ain't been here all day. They said, oh, because she says she's outside with the knife because she's trying to protect herself. But my son had been in the house all day. Right.
Wow,
and this little girl was telling the police because somebody else called the police. I didn't even know what was going on around her house. But my point is that she could not handle the fact that my son did not like her. And she had her and her friends jumped him.
What?
I'm so serious. And little Lily, where I live at. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Listen, like I said, listen, parenting, parenthood is the toughest hood. It really, really is.
Yeah, like you said parenthood is the toughest hood. It really
is.
I've never heard.
It absolutely is. Like there's no manual to this thing.
No,
you can give all you have, and your child can still shift and do something else.
Right.
And it's like basketball. When the team is winning, the team is popping, they loving the coach. As soon as they lose, everybody's at the coach.
Right.
They're like, you must have done something wrong.
Right.
And it can't be that the players had an off day. It's the coach's fault. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's the same thing with parenting. And a lot of times we got to be real. We're human. So sometimes you don't know what's going on with your child and you check out. Like I had to understand, I was checked out growing up. I was checked out. As a young Lazat would say, dead from the neck up. Well, nothing happening, child. I was just numb and just checked out. So picture being that as a parent.
Right.
And then we also, and I'm grateful, I guess it took, a white woman to say it. I'm glad people are starting to recognize postpartum depression. That thing is very real.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're dealing with emotions and your hormone and dealing with stuff, you're going to be judged because you don't know how you're feeling or why.
That's what I say a lot. Because like even with community things that are going on, like the meetings and all that stuff, people in our communities are so checked out and so busy trying to survive and so busy trying to just get through that, we be like, well, we're all the people that's supposed to be showing up for the gerrymandering meeting, now we all trying to go. And these people ain't there because they too busy trying to raise their kids. Their kids is out here in the streets, right? And they doing the most, and their husbands is doing whatever, or the wives are doing whatever, or you're at work because both of y'all with these mortgages and this situation, or these rents, you have to work 2 and 3 jobs in order to pay for that, and then the food, never mind all of that, right? It is definitely a difficult place. For parents, especially in our communities, to be when everybody's working. We can't take off because they're having a community meeting about the break-ins and the burglaries in our neighborhoods. We don't have that kind of time on the books. right?
It's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot involved. And then you have to be, mindful and worried, or I don't want to say worried, but you have to be in tune, with your child, because things could be happening with them and they're told to not say anything. We have people working in schools and in what do you call organizations that prey on children. They pay attention if there's only one mother. If there's
Yeah.
only one parent, they pay attention. They
Yeah.
will prey on them. Like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna take them under my wing when they have bad intention.
Right.
And
Right.
that encounter may be carried through that child's life into adulthood, and you don't know why your child's going through changes because he never said that person touched me.
Right.
And that person
Right.
told me not to tell you because they were going to kill you.
And can I tell you something? And this is real talk. We talk about domestic violence towards women, but real
No,
talk.
men too.
Yeah, I'm always championing my brothers because men are being at an alarming rate that they don't even talk about, molested and raped and hurt and beat up by women, and nobody talks about it because the man is embarrassed and he doesn't have a safe space. And I say this because a lot of men, they don't feel good enough after that. I mean, I remember even Pastor Donnie McClurkin talking about his experience.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And the things that shaped who he became. And he's a man of God. And I don't know what the situation is today, and I can't speak to that, and I won't even if I could. But the point is, there is a lot of things that are going on in the hearts and in the minds of men, and they do not have a safe place to put that stuff, right?
Well, that's why I started the series.
Yes.
That's exactly why I started the series. I started the Men Wear Art Thou series on the podcast because in 1 week, 2 Black men took their own lives on social media.
Wow.
On social media, on live.
Yes.
And I started I'm a dreamer. So that thing had my spirit so troubled, I couldn't shake it. I said, what is happening with our men? And
yes, I did the same in December.
And that's what birthed Men Wear Art Thou series. And thank you for bringing up the fact that men deal with domestic violence. I have someone come on the podcast to be a part of the series to share that exact thing. Yes. I met him at a meeting for domestic violence. I had some young ladies, shout out to Women in Purple and Returning to Hope organizations. These are women who advocate against domestic violence. It is not just about women. They just happen to be women, but it's men and women in these meetings. Right. And I encountered him and he said, listen, I was being beat down by my kid's mother for years until I got out. Wow. And I'm like, I promise you, I never physically encountered someone to say the words. Yeah. And it just was like I promise you, I probably awkwardly stared at him for a few seconds. Right. I'm like, he's really saying this. I know what's going on, but to have someone say it, it was just, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what he has to say. I can't wait. I can't wait.
When is he coming on?
I'm gonna be putting out. I'm gonna be uploading different episodes weekly. So you'll see.
Okay. Well, this is y'all gotta follow her on YouTube, Lady She, Hot Mic at Lady She, for her podcast. You guys definitely have to follow her. Now we only got a few more minutes because my show is generally an hour. But I'm gonna tell you, this has been so dope and so amazing. I'm like,
Kim, you're amazing.
I'm not ready to jump more. Thank you. No, I felt like the need, and usually I talk mostly about relationships, but my heart hurts.
But this is relationships.
No, it really is, but man and woman, Yeah. But
it still is though. Men and women are procreating and not ready to procreate.
Right.
Okay. And they're creating little babies that are not okay. So this is still relationships because, like I said earlier, sometimes we're just not ready.
But that's the other part that I wanted to get to, right? Because that's where I come in at, right? I don't deal with the children, even though the children have my heart, right? That I deal with the adults because I believe that when you crazy and he crazy, then you produce crazy, right? Let can we be honest?
Yeah.
And so if we are to get to what's really at the core of this, is it's not being conscious, it's not having clarity about what you want and what you need. It's about having children at a young age. It's about, not knowing who you are, and not having the clarity that you need in order to be a good wife or a good woman or a good man or a good husband, right? What does that even look like? And that's where I come in as a relationship coach, because me and Darren have had this conversation several times. And Darren talks about, we've done like so many emotions forums around parenting and children, and when Trayvon Martin died and was killed. And we talked about this, and people came, and it was amazing. The emotions forum was absolutely dope. And now we're going to be doing cocktails and conversations.
All right now.
Stage, right?
Let's go.
But the reason why I think that this is important is because all the kids come out crazy. Like if you're not healed, if you're not whole, if you don't know what you want, and you want to begin again, if you want to heal those hurts. And a lot of people think like, no, I'm good. Oh, really? Oh,
well, that's the mask.
Right. How is that working out for you, honey? Because what we're talking about all day, every day over here, is we're talking about healing that. Because there is a reason why you are not in a healthy, happy relationship.
Right.
And I don't care, even if it's with your sister, your brothers, your cousins, your uncle, I don't care who it's with, even your mother. There is a reason why, but you are the nucleus to the whole cell. Right. And we have got to begin to acknowledge the role and the part that we play. You said something so profound. You said, I had to own it because I was wrong. Right. I had to own it.
Absolutely.
And I'm with you, because ownership is the path to your healing. Right. You know what? You a mess. Hector's
it's the truth, Cam.
No, it is, because you begin to own yourself, right? It begins to set you free. And a lot of people don't realize that, because they're still in this space of, well, I forgive them for what they did. I forgive them for how they hurt me. But here's the other piece of it, right? While you forgive them for what they did and how they hurt you, one of the other parts of that is to forgive yourself for allowing it and the role that you played in it. But you won't acknowledge the role that you played in it. And so because you won't acknowledge the role that you played in it, there is no healing. And while you say, I forgive them, you cannot even begin to forgive yourself and begin the process of healing and bringing somebody new and amazing and wonderful into your life. Right? Because you're still in a real way, you're still stuck.
Absolutely.
And don't even know that you're stuck. And the stuff that you're in is not the last relationship you were in. The stuff that you're in is a relationship you had when you were 17 years old. And you don't know that. Right. And you've got to begin to unearth that, because if we want healthy and we want happy, and the unfortunate thing, and this is what I say all the time, the unfortunate thing is you don't learn this until later on. Now your kids grown, but they crazy as hell. You know what I'm saying? And like, no, I'm serious. Because we be putting the Band-Aid, because we be putting Band-Aids on like open wounds that need to be sewn. You can't put a Band-Aid or a big giant Band-Aid even on a wound. The wound needs to be sutured, right? And healed.
The wound needs to be cleaned also.
Yes.
It has to be cared for and then sewn so it can heal correctly. That's and I'm tired of hearing people saying, I'm healing right now. How are you healing?
Yes.
You're going if you're not getting an outside encounter to do something different, you're gonna end up doing the same thing again. You trying to be deep by saying, I'm healing right now. Healing how, beloved? Like how?
You said how, beloved? I love
like how though? I want to know. This is why you gotta reach out to Kim. Like you need to get to the root of that thing and get what you need, because you're gonna keep being that meanie or that one who everybody know when you come around they gotta adjust themselves.
Right, because
it's exhausting out here.
Your psychosis.
Yes, like no, but you listen. We gotta do something different. We gotta do something different.
I have a client that I spoke to some, years ago, right? And one of the things that was the issue was that they thought that it was the person that they were dealing with right then in that point. I said, no, baby, it's not them. It's not right then. It's not right now. I said, go back. And the more that she went back, she realized that it was the person she was in a relationship with from like 25 years ago. And I said, yes, that part. It's
Come
that
on.
it's that
Yeah.
part. Because when you really get to it, and we kind of want to do things our way, and we don't want to do things the way that God has structured things to be.
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate, because what happens is, because you want to do it how you want to do it, you're going to keep falling into the same rut, because
Right.
there really truly is a standard and a way for us to live our lives, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that you got to be so spiritual and so holy, because I ain't saying that.
Mhm.
But what I am saying is there's some core principles that
Right.
one needs to follow for their lives in order to have success in their relationships. Right?
Absolutely.
And so if you're not doing that part, then how do you expect your children to thrive? How do you
Absolutely.
expect them? How do you create the safe space? If you're not going to therapy, if you're not getting coaching, if you're not doing anything
Mhm.
but lamenting over, see, on the low, because it's a low lamenting. It's on
Mhm.
the low. It's that
Mhm.
DL lamenting, because you don't want nobody to know that you still heard about what somebody did
Mhm.
to you 25 years ago.
Mhm.
Oh no, girl, I'm over that. Oh, you saw him? Oh yeah, I saw him and his ugly girlfriend. Girl, I'd be like, oh my God. No,
There's truth. Look, there's truth in every joke, child.
yes. And even the men who are hurting and they can't seem to navigate their way.
Listen,
And
Kim Love Jones.
she's
I
the
don't
last
have.
woman they was with. No, she's
Listen,
not.
ma'am. Listen, I don't had to put on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know who need to hear this, but sir, she is married and has moved on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Y'all holding on to high school sweethearts, and she's a goner. Okay. Like, you need to let that thing go. You need to let that thing go.
Let it go. Let it
Figure
go.
it
Let it
out.
go.
You
Right?
need to get to the bottom of it, or what you did wrong, why.
Yes.
Go start from there. Start from there and work your way up. But
Yes.
she's gone. Okay.
Yes.
She is gone. You're
Tell
gonna
her
have to
that.
accept and figure it out, beloved, because this ain't it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a lot.
And hurting and spewing venom.
Yes, yes.
So like
Yes.
social media, and and we gonna get ready to go, boo. But
Mhm.
let's give it to 1 hour and 15, and we're gonna get
Okay.
up out of here. But what I'm saying is, and then you spewing this venom on social media. And so when you spew the venom on social media, other people catch it.
Absolutely.
And for all of my Christian brothers and sisters out there, every idle word that you speak,
Well, come
you
on.
will be judged on. I promise you.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
promise you.
Absolutely.
And so the venom and all of that, that's real. That
Absolutely.
stuff is real.
This
And
is why you have to be you.
yes.
The shirt
Yes.
I wore last night that I posted, be original. You have to be you. Be accepting of you. Be accepting that you have flaws. Be accepting that you're not going to get it right every time, even though your
Right.
desire is to grow. You're not going to get it right every time you go to that therapy session.
Right.
You're going to fall and get back up and all these different things, but be you.
Yes.
God cannot bless who you pretend to be.
Hello, somebody.
So with social media, you have to be very careful. Make sure what he's telling you to do, you are doing because of him.
Right.
Or you.
Right.
Not what's trendy.
Right.
Like, I can't do what Kim is doing. This is Kim's lane. And that is A-okay. Kim can't do what I'm doing. This is my lane. And you have to be okay with that.
Yes.
If it's from him, he's gonna bless it.
Yes.
So I just think, people need to be honest with themselves and understand nobody's perfect. And as what they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. So give yourself grace.
But fail forward though.
Yeah, give yourself grace as you grow. Give yourself grace as you grow. That's what relationships with the significant other, that's what relationship with your children, all around. Because it has to be for you.
Yes.
For you to be a better you.
Yes.
You have to have a relationship with yourself first.
Yes.
Or at least you should. Okay.
Yes.
You should want to have a relationship with yourself first. and then want to start to date or,
Yes.
court or, have someone court you or court someone,
Yes.
and I think, we miss the mark a lot of times just doing stuff. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's 2023 and we got to do better than what we're doing. That's the bottom line.
Hello,
We got to do better
somebody.
than what we are doing.
Yes.
Just really quick. I know we tapped in. We went to a few places. This was so good, Kim. Thank you.
I know. I love it. I love it.
I love you. I love you.
I love you, girl. I love your back.
I wanted to share really quick the book, right?
Yes.
So I wrote this book, God Over Puzzle Pieces, in 2016, and I'm going to be real with you. I've been writing. Writing has always been my outlet since a kid, and I just knew my first book.
Back up again. Put it up again. Go ahead. Put the book back up again.
I just knew
God Over Puzzle Pieces.
A Mother Who Prayed.
Olsen. That's A Mother Who Prayed. Y'all have got to buy that book. You have to, wait a minute. And she does t-shirts.
Yes, I have one right now.
I love it. Obama, Kamala, Maya, Stacey, Freddie, Thorogood,
everybody,
Michelle.
A few people.
I can't see the last one.
I can't see the bottom either, child. But yes, and listen, like I said earlier, everything is connected. Everything is connected. I didn't know Lady She was coming. Everything is she. She's got teas. I write tributes and stuff for other people. That's she calligraphy. Like, it's so many different layers, and it's all God. It's all God. But I wanted to let people know and understand, if during this live we spoke about something connected to your relationship, okay, with your significant other, especially if you have children. This book is not just about my autistic son, okay?
All right.
It's about relationships with your children and your relationship with God. That's why it's called God Over Puzzle Pieces. I am a praying mother. I speak life into my son. A lot of people who have encountered my son didn't even know he was autistic, because it was like, you never treated him like that. And I was like, you know what? This book is going to bless some people, because there shouldn't be a you don't treat him like that. What am I supposed to treat him like?
Right.
To make you know you understand what I'm saying? Right. So sometimes, when it's not your world, you just don't know.
Right.
But people who don't have autistic children have been emailing me for years about how the prayers in the book have blessed them, about the conversations they have with their children and their significant other, because there's prayers for the parents as well in the book.
Wow.
So there you have it.
I need it. I need a copy.
There you have it. There you have it. You are welcome to email me for a copy. And I'll sign it for you. If whatever God speaks to you, say something specific to you. I'm a praying woman, so if he speaks, I'm gonna write it in that book, child. It's gonna be for you.
All right, because I need my copy.
Yes, we always have room to grow.
Yes.
No one has arrived. Be very clear.
Yes.
I get it. God has made us secure and all these different things, but none of us have arrived. There's always room to grow. There's always time to get the help that you need. Seek therapy. There's always the relationship coaches. We got Kim about love or whatever it is that you need for yourself.
Even Cherie, the psychoanalyst, psychotherapy.
Yes, and Cherie, yes, for sure. Yes. I have her podcast too. Girl. There's so many different. To me, you have no excuse but to win in 2023.
Hello.
If you are not winning, that is by choice.
Yes.
Like, period. If you are not winning, if you are not moving in that vision board that you put up 5 years ago, or if you are not knocking out certain goals, that is on you right now. Right. I just truly feel 2023 is for the taking. I truly believe that. Yes. So listen, it's a mindset thing. It is a mindset thing. So once again, Kim, thank you so much for
I want you to tell them how to reach you again. Give them your email address. Give them whatever you need to give them.
For the podcast, I promise you, God is amazing. I'm having so much fun and I'm being so blessed. Like, I just feel like I'm just so full from everyone that's come on and shared their stories. Right now, you guys will probably see soon, I'm going to be sharing this month, Women's History Month.
Yes, that's why I wanted all my girls on this month.
Yes. So, for this month in particular, I brought back my She Is My Shiro series. So I have a lineup of some amazing women. Oh my goodness. They did not come to play, Kim. I promise you. They did not come to play. So I will be sharing that soon. I'm still posting and sharing and uploading videos from the Men Where Art Thou series, which is all men. Okay, there's some men on here.
Okay.
This is a safe place. Kim knows this is a safe space that I've created for you to come in, share what you want to share. You can ask me what you want to ask me. You can come for us and all of that, and we're gonna have healthy conversation about it, because we want you guys. First of all, let me say publicly, I love you guys.
Yes.
To my men, I love you with my whole heart.
Yes, me too.
You were created first for a reason. You are our leaders. You are our fathers. You are our pop-pops. You are our everything. Don't ever forget it. I know there's a lot going on that's making y'all look some type of way, but we know y'all out there. So thank you, and we love you. Just want to say that. But I created this series so our men can have a place where if they need to cry, go ahead and cry. You are safe. Where if you need to tell us, Black women, I love you, but you too much. I'm going to ask, why are we too much? And you can share and say what you want to say. Okay. If you want to say being a dad is hard and I wish I knew more about how to be better, come on and say it. And we will give you solution, or we will connect you to someone who can help you in that vein, because I don't know everything. But we can't help you if we don't know what you're going through. Yes. So that's what Men Where Art Thou series 2 is about. So that's the podcast. Say again?
How can they reach you?
So you guys can reach me through Instagram. I am Hot Mic Lady She _podcast. To order shirts, you can also reach me on Instagram, which is She's Got Tees, one word, SHESGOTTEES. I'm also on Facebook, She's Got Tees LLC, and Hot Mic Lady She on Facebook.
And YouTube.
The YouTube channel is Hot Mic with Lady She podcast on YouTube. I'm getting some professionals involved so they can put me on the podcast places, because right now it's just YouTube, but I gotta get to this bag also, okay? God makes room for our gifts. He also makes room for us to get paid. Okay?
I love you so much, sis.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of my thought-provoking Thursday, y'all. And this should have gave y'all a whole lot to think about.
A lot.
We got to be out here praying for our kids.
Yes.
We got to be praying for our men. We got to be praying for our sisters. We got to be praying for ourselves. We have got to encourage and support one another. Shanice, I love you, Lady She. You are so dope and so amazing. Listen.
I know.
I love everybody, but I don't mess with everybody.
I love you.
I
got you,
girl.
I caught it. You already know I caught it.
Okay. I love y'all, and thanks so much for.
Thanks, everybody.